great. So we have a very interesting mix. We have people who have physical products to sell, right? We have digital products, right? We have fintech app players here. We have edtech, and we have what we would call as F&B and wellness and health and wellness all here, right? Full funnel means completely different things to you guys. I'm pretty sure because some of you are forced to be at the top of the funnel because bottom of the funnel is more physical brick and mortar distribution, while some are forced to be more at the bottom of the funnel because you get to see that what we call as an instant impact of spend money, get results sort of thing. But as we start this, let's start with and I did share, some talking points. So let's start with saying that, the way marketing has evolved over the last 20, 30 years, and specifically over the last 10 years, is like you have an agency for every aspect, right? You have a social performance, search, maybe brand agency. Sometimes you have integrated agencies, you have SEO agencies, right? So there is a sort of challenge there. Sometimes it's also consolidated where you have one agency doing everything, but not in the manner that you would like it. So how the silos between your agency partners, wherever you use them, or the silos within your own organization, assuming you don't use agency partners and you do it in-house, how is that impacting the value that you would ideally want to derive from full funnel marketing, right? And I'm happy if someone wants to say that, hey, there's nothing like full funnel marketing. It's all divided, and that's how it works best. I'm happy to hear that point of view as well. Thrash the topic if you would want. But if you do think that no, that full funnel marketing actually exists, would love to get quick examples internally. Do you work with an agency? What challenges do you face as marketers? And if there was an ideal state in your mind, what would it look like? So let's start with the ladies on the right hand side. Please go ahead. Yeah.
Sure. So, I mean, I would say that it's somewhere, the answer lies somewhere in the middle for us. So it is full funnel marketing that we aim to do. We do a lot of stuff in-house. Some of the things are given to agencies. Some of them work very seamlessly with each other, but not everything. There are definitely gaps that happen.
What are those gaps?
I would say that, between, say, customers, some of the post-purchase events and journeys that happen, vis-a-vis the leads that come through, and in between the conversion that happens through a Meta or through a Google.
Yeah.
The post-purchase is much more synthesized together, but the in-between parts are it's a little challenging to meld them together for us.
And when you say it's challenging, is it an organization problem? Is it a product category problem? Or is it the way you are set up as a agency brand ecosystem that's the problem?
I think there aren't enough number of solutions which actually synthesize everything end to end.
Yeah.
Some of the tech platforms solve for certain things, somebody solves for something else, but they don't necessarily talk to each other.
Yeah. And the point here is that they do sell a lot from the marketplaces, and marketplaces today are a closed ecosystem, as everybody understands, right?
Especially if you're selling it on FBA, or like you sell it in their warehouse, keep it in their warehouse, then you're not even fulfilling it.
Have you figured out a workaround around that marketplace, closed, can't see my funnel story?
We are right now exploring solutions.
Let's come to those. So hold on to those solutions. We'll come back to that. You were shaking your head with this whole market.
It's a black box.
Yeah.
Specifically for my organization, we were doing a lot of performance marketing on right? But like how you mentioned, the whole shift has happened from, at least for us in F&B, it's because it's fresh, it's happened from D2C to more D2C plus Q-commerce platforms, for example, right?
Yeah.
Data over there is guarded and expensive. At least so far it was guarded. I think in the last couple of months they've started to monetize the data to an extent as a company you are ready to
pay for it
to an extent. But again, there are a lot of caveats to it. I think to the question that you asked us in terms of are there any solutions that we've figured out, we've done a couple of pilots where they've pushed out cohorts, specific cohorts that we've asked for have been pushed into our Meta account, for example, right? And we are allowed to run run stuff on it. Yeah. But again, after, like she said, after the purchase has happened, I don't know what happens after that. So I think that's, I pump in money, I see conversions, but then I don't know where are those customers right now. Are they coming back? Are they not coming back? Are they coming back to me offline?
And do you think the solve for that is a sort of a full funnel solutions partner? Is it a data solve? What do you see as the solve?
So
Data
this-
is coming in bits and pieces, as you
Correct, it's
mentioned.
coming in bits and pieces, but I think the solve here will have to be platforms working along with platforms like y'all,
Yeah.
allowing y'all access to data,
Yeah.
allowing
There is a
us
clean
some
room
outputs
ecosystem
consistently.
that can
Yeah.
be implemented
Yeah.
here. Just in honesty, for your solve, if you are a large partner with Q-commerce,
Correct.
and if many large partners, the other day I was talking to Unilever and ITC together in one conference, and I told them if you two get together and
Yeah.
talk to Q-commerce players, they will be forced to come to the table with a clean room exercise. But more on that as to how we can see more visibility on the funnel. Anybody who has been working with agency partners or solution providers where the silos really hurt you, where you are trying to show the bottom of the funnel to your agency, but because that data is in-house, they are not able to see that their efforts are not making any business impact.
So I'll try to split into two parts. Then one is a digital part agency partner,
Yeah.
right? Wherein we are able to still pass on some data, if not the entire data, we are able to pass on some kind of information, how many people are coming in, what are they doing here and there, right, on the website and stuff. But there is a lot of people, a lot of agency partners. We have channel partners, we have offline partners, we have B2B also going on. We have no idea what they're doing. Honestly, there's no, I mean, while we are getting post-purchase because the students are coming onto a platform and we know what they are doing and what not, but before that, what they are doing, right, that we don't know. Even for the digital partners, what they are doing on their end, right, where are they running my ad campaigns, where are they running their, even if they're doing Facebook or what are they doing, we have very limited
So
information. While
the theme that I hear is that this full funnel visibility, wherever it's not there, it's quite painful. It shows. What would it change if it was there?
So I think it will be easy for the customer that they know it's one entity and they're being bombarded by 5 different things, right? We will also know, hey, this is the number of time we have reached out to a customer, and at one point of time
You would save on over communication and pissing off a
it's
customer.
going to be efficient for everyone, right?
Yeah.
And then the kind of communication which you're going to do, right? I'm not going to show the same kind of ad who's for someone who's already visited my platform 3 times versus someone who's
Yeah.
fresh, who's not even heard about.
You'll
the brand.
optimize your frequencies, so as to say.
Yeah, even those ad sequencing and all, I think that should also.
And that's very interesting. What about you? You have the full funnel almost, right? Figured out.
Sort of. I would say that we're a little complicated in the way we operate, and I think the answer to your question, are silos actually impacting the full funnel piece? In my opinion, I think it's product led. We exist, and I call this the airport effect. We exist in 2 places. All right, we exist as a checkout finance player, which means that if you see us, you would see us typically in large platforms, which are the largest e-commerce players in the country. You would see us at checkout finance, where we would just click a button, underwrite you in less than a couple of seconds, and then move you past the journey, right? So it's a very transactional experience there.
Yeah.
And at the other end of the experience is something which is actually very brand centric, which is our app, which is actually something that you do to do money management, expense tracking, and all of that. And the richer amount of data there is required, because as a customer, so imagine I'm Karthik and I walk in. I call this the airport experience because when you get into the airport, you are met with a security check, right? You don't want to somebody to open up your bag, wait there, take you 10 more seconds, and you want to get past that really fast. So the experience there that we kind of want to build has got to be very frictionless and seamless. But at the end of the day, we are a lender, so there will be some amount of friction. So the question really is, how much can we reduce that friction? Once you get into the airport, you walk in and you see a lounge, and there you want somebody to welcome you with like a drink and say, hey Rajiv, here's your welcome drink, right? And that is a different experience altogether. Now both of these experiences are inside the airport, right? And as a brand, we try and solve both of these. So for us, I feel understanding where we want to reach out to this customer and make the play, we kind of take a call. So we do have silos, and it's a conscious choice to have those silos. So for example, in the app specifically, we are obviously going to focus on top of the funnel search, which is SEO and ASO is what
Yeah.
we will try and focus there. But when it comes to actually the lending products, which is the pay later products that we actually run, we really don't need to do that there because the
because it's
acquisition is solved for already.
The distribution is solved
Yes.
for. But in the first case, are you sort of stitching acquisition and retention together because the customer keeps coming back?
So
right?
that's
You want
where
to
we
keep
have the
coming back
problem.
in your case.
So it's a great question. That's
Yeah.
exactly where we have a problem because it's a black hole when it comes to platforms. So let's say you walk in and you purchase a product. I have no clue what product you purchased. I do know about you. I do know that your name is this, the last few digits of your Aadhaar are this,
Yeah.
and I have I've done an income imputation at checkout, so I know that there is a persona that I've created. But what you watch, where you shop, how you shop, do you need this product again is something that I have no visibility on because no platform is going to share that data with
Understood.
me. Which means retention becomes a problem. And so what we try and do is to keep the app as a retention base for us. So how do we get people to find more about us? We call this the N+1 approach, where if you do know us of one product, can you actually see a few more products of ours? So for me, the true test of the pudding is when you actually know more than one of our products. Otherwise, in my opinion, we have failed to actually communicate well enough to you. That's the
very
way we look
interesting.
at it.
So you have one for which is a distribution play and one which is sort of a
Yeah.
retention play.
Yes.
Interesting. Pranesh,
Yes.
very, you are having, real physical products that you can't sell via quick commerce.
I
It
should
has to
say
be own
I'm
stores.
A fan. I use Aether.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've sold my car and I've been using Aether for a while.
Yeah.
Sold the car and
Yeah, I switched to a scooter.
You made his day. So
Your
Pranesh,
marketing works well.
Yeah.
I've worked in it
you,
too. at
you
one point.
already
candidate.
you already have loyal customers in this room. So tell us how did you make that happen, and also from the full funnel perspective, we were talking about this, right? Where you actually really put money behind this, where you're trying to build a brand, you're trying to also then convert, create those leads, get store walk-ins, and it's a brand in also a category creation of some sort. It's a double whammy, to be very honest, right? Because there is category concerns across the board here, safety concerns as well, which has been publicly sort of advertised, viral, etc., etc., etc. Coming to your approach to now, after doing that experience of investing that money, do you think from your brand perspective a full funnel works or doesn't work at all? And what does work?
See, in our category, full funnel works.
And how do you define it? Would be lovely to know.
So one is, as I spoke before, we're looking at customers anywhere between in the market for 6 months to 1 year.
Yeah.
Somebody doesn't decide to buy a scooter, like they go to store and they pick it up. Obviously, there's a need that has been built up for a period of 6 months to 1 year.
Yeah.
And to nurture that customer. The problem that I see is the planning stage itself. Right? How you reach out to that customer. Now, there were two different agencies for, say, ATL and digital. Merge them both together, get an agency who's an integrated agency. The problem that you see is that I'm not concerned about whether a customer is reached through TV or a print or a digital, nothing.
Interesting.
I'm not bothered.
Yeah.
I'm saying, okay, if there's an interested customer, I'm going to talk to him for probably 2 months' time at a certain frequency. TV, print, it doesn't matter to me.
Mm.
Can you give me a consolidated view of it?
Mm.
Today, that agency has been able to put the planning together. Do I entirely believe it? No. Why I say that? Example, say today you talk about TV plus digital together,
Yeah.
right? Now you say that this is the kind of customer that we have on TV. We'll target these many customers here.
Yeah.
Digital, we target these many customers. Couple of states, example, say TV doesn't have that kind of a reach.
Mhm.
Example, regional channels.
Yeah.
And you get digital actually works better. Example, UP as a market,
Yep.
TV is pretty weak, but digital is very strong.
Yes.
But when you look at the consolidated data, digital can give you at the city level data.
Mm.
TV doesn't give you at city level data.
Yeah.
The moment you start putting together 1 plus 2, it doesn't add up to 2. It's something else. Right?
Yeah.
And you don't believe the data.
Yeah.
They're putting it because I'm asking them to do it, but
Yeah.
by heart, can I believe it? No, I don't believe
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
Right. That's one. Second thing is when the customer comes into the funnel, what do we do with the data? Right. He spoke about how do we personalize the communication to them.
Right.
We've been speaking about this for the last 1.5 decades now.
Yes.
It's not happening. Everybody comes and sells you that I want to do this, cross-device pollination, that. Absolutely nothing is happening. I agree with these ladies when they said it's completely a black box. I'll put the money if you show me the results. But the thing is that
Yeah.
a lot of people, partners, agencies come and commit a lot of stuff, deliver zilch.
Yeah.
Right? That's where
Why
the
do you think that problem is? Because it's not like this is a country of incompetent people, right? I mean, agencies are billing crores, if not multiple hundreds of crores to clients, and they are the same people, right? I mean, agency people go to brand people come to agencies. The first one is more true than the second, but I'm saying. My point being, why do you think that is? Is it a data problem? Is it a legacy structural issue that the technology or the digitization has moved much faster, but agencies are still catching up?
I don't think there's a capability problem.
Okay,
A lot of good talent exists in India.
absolutely.
Probably a lot of
I agree with you.
a lot of countries look up to India for the kind of intelligence we bring, even in marketing, right?
Yeah.
Automation
Yeah.
that we speak about. Platforms are not a problem.
Yeah.
It's a commitment that's a problem. How you work with the brand is a problem.
And
Can you work with a brand through the funnel? We're talking full funnel market, right?
Yeah.
From the awareness to the bottom funnel marketing. Can you help the brand together, right? Example said today, I will sit with some 3 of my team members and work with an agency. But is the agency fully committed to work with him campaign after campaign to deliver the results, measure, and show me
and why
where
do you
the
think
impact-
that lack of commitment? Is it because clients squeeze agencies sometimes on pricing? And Satyajit is smiling there with how many years he spent in this space.
I don't believe because clients used to squeeze agencies earlier.
Yeah, yeah,
But today, if you're able to show the deliveries and results,
yeah.
agencies, brands are okay to spend that money.
Do you think agencies shy away from committing to any results because they probably don't know the attrition? The guy who is supposed to be hands-on is no longer hands-on in an agency ecosystem.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. So we come to the problem there.
Yeah.
Fair. Okay. And are there? And that begs my question, because this is about full funnel. Are there any full funnel marketers in agencies? Have you met any who can think full funnel
Lot of
like
it-
you can?
A lot of people have pitched, but I've not seen results.
Yeah. But so I understand a lot of people have pitched, you've not seen results. But given that you are the brand custodian, of course you have you are trying to solve this more desperately than they are,
Yeah.
right? For them, you are one client. For you, you are your only brand custodian. I'm sure you have a sort of a full funnel vision in your mind of what will work. Has anybody been able to match that so far?
Not yet.
Not yet.
The expectations are there, not yet. I've seen the theory part of it.
Understood.
Practically, I've not seen it.
Understood. Very interesting. And you think the lacuna is the lack of people who are the ear to the ground and hands on the ground together.
Correct.
You don't find such people.
Yeah.
Fair. Great. Wow. Very good insight there. Right. Let's move on. Let's look at, we've already spoken about the agency. I think most people agree with the agency silo. Let's talk about the data silos, the tool silos. We can start with that, and quick time check. Satyajit, how much time do we have? 20?
19 minutes.
20 minutes. We'll take one more minute. Go
Okay.
ahead. Yeah. So data silo, tool silos, because I know, and this is a fact, I know clients who invest in tools and then get 12 people to manage that tool and then invest in another tool, right? And this is coming from someone who actually built a platform himself, but we provide a solution on top of the platform. I personally feel marketers are over inundated with tool and data, but not with the right kind of data or the right kind of solution.
Correct.
So that's my outlook, but I'm sure there are people who, you guys spend money on this. So would love to know from you.
See, I think whenever you're investing in a tool, most of the times you don't really know what that tool is going to do for you
Absolutely.
2 years down the line.
Absolutely.
Right? You're investing today basis what you believe that your capabilities will be down the line,
Yeah.
as well as how the tool will scale with you.
Yeah.
And fortunately, I've been part of some journeys where we've built platforms from scratch.
Yeah.
And specifically in those cases, you really don't know where you're going to be in 2 years' time, 3 years' time. You can relate with that, right?
Yes, absolutely.
As a founder yourself.
Yes.
So, midway somewhere, when you start realizing that this is probably not the best thing for me,
Yeah.
you already have the sunk cost fallacy
Yeah.
going around with you,
Yes.
right? That I've already invested, we've created some
And then you can't
competence,
leave it.
and leaving it is a cost as well,
Yeah.
right? So the sooner you arrive at that decision, the better it is. And
It's like a late realization your marriage isn't working. Yeah.
But more importantly, most of the times when marketers buy tools, their organizations themselves are not ready for it.
Absolutely.
So,
So why do they buy it?
So adoption happens over a very long period of time.
Which begs the question that SaaS platforms, are they an effective solution? The way SaaS works, where you're given a tool and then you are supposed to train on it for 10, 12 months, and then sometime in the future you will see a accountability or an ROI from a person who's in your organization or in an implementation partner, where he will then give you that realization rather than the tool itself, which should have taken the accountability. But that's not happening in the market, is it?
Yeah. So, and you can add to this maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, across the ecosystem, and there are thousands of tools out there right now. There's no single one tool which will take accountability along with you. Okay, this is the ROI that I'm going to promise to you, right?
Sure.
And as a person who would probably deal with marketing or bring all of these tools into the organization, it's up to you to make a business case out of that, right?
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
you end up doing some calculations,
Yeah.
and they might be extremely fancy numbers. You will present an iPhone 20 when you don't have iPhone 13, right? And it ends up happening like that, exactly.
Yeah.
It's
In
a
fact,
fancy blingy thing.
I want to share a story. This is one of the biggest pharma chains in the country. I'm sure you know which one I'm talking about. And they bought in this tool. Again, not going to name the tool. They spent 1.5 crore on the tool, and they spent 1.5 crore on the people to manage the tool, right? And the reason why they can't move on from the tool is because of that, right? But the point that you make, that no tool will take accountability, quote unquote, the reason we call ourselves a full funnel agency backed by a platform is because we take accountability from our platform perspective. So I'm fully backing that, and because I put money into it.
We'll catch up on that.
Yeah, happy to, and finance is a big sector for us. But yeah, please.
Yeah,
Tejnu.
so I think adding to Anshit's point, it's a very strong use case for the marketing for gaming industry. I mean, so in gaming, we essentially focus on retention as a North Star metric. Okay. Now my acquisition campaigns have to talk to my engagement campaigns. Let's say a user sees let's say a casual gaming advertisement altogether, and then what's shown on ads versus what's on the app, it does not correlate. There is a reason why, because we work with different BSP partners.
Yeah.
Now there is not a MarTech solution. While the capability still exists, I agree with you, but the metric that they chase is not aligned to their own organizations.
Understood.
Right? I want to chase retention, but they want to chase CAC. Right?
Yeah.
And maybe my other BSP partner who is sending out notifications for me wants to chase what is my push delivery rate. I mean, now there are 3 organizations not talking to each other.
And this isn't part of the same, right?
It's a part ecosystem, and when
Yeah.
we try to build solutions around it, then again I agree with him. It comes boils down to the same problem altogether.
Doesn't this also reflect the way the organization, your own organization, there'll be a head of acquisition, there'll be a head of retention, people chasing different things. Isn't it slicing and dicing marketing to a level where it sort of doesn't look at the whole business context? I mean, I'm just asking, you guys are in this, and I see some heads shaking. Doesn't it sort of create what we call as a unnecessary push and pull within a team that is actually supposed to follow the same goal or pull in the same direction?
So organization. From an organization point of view, yes, we have same metrics. But let's say if I have 2 different tools that I work on, maybe there are no tech integrations as such that can talk to each other, and that can give me a one funnel view.
Understood.
Let's say what we previously discussed as well.
Right.
That I have a data set here, I have a data set here, but
Yeah.
there is no convergence of that data set into one funnel where I can see the entire 360 journey of a user.
Which is the data silos,
Exactly.
right? Now let's, I think we have some 10, 12, 15 minutes, whatever. Let's look at a little bit on the future, right? There's a lot of AI buzzword and whatnot, right? I've even seen videos from people saying that, an agency is going to be turned into an agency, where instead of people agents, you will have AI agents working for you, and so on and so forth. Keeping all that buzz aside, in reality, on the ground, today, and possibly stretching that, using your good hindsight to throw some foresight, where do you think automation and AI could solve some of these silos and challenges that we discussed? Because the people issue that Pranesh just spoke about, right? The hands-on issue. Technically, if all your past campaign data has been given to LLM agent and it's available on the fly, then even that mid-level guy who's not that experienced can at least have some hindsight that his senior guy who's now no longer hands-on can take care of. So technically that is possible. It's not happening, but technically all that is possible to sort of understand where things happen. Where do you see the role of AI and automation today and in the next 2-3 years? And even if, let's say, you don't see anything, what's your wish list if there was some solution that could be using technology to sort of solve it? Yeah.
I think from a customer experience point of view, it could come in very handy if there was a way to know, that this customer had purchased ABC items from these platforms. Possibly this is the next item we should be, right now it's like, people sitting, looking through the data. Of course, there are some algorithms running, but figuring out and building all of those maps and journeys. So if that could be made a little more seamless, then it's almost on the fly itself that it could happen. You don't need to wait for certain cues to fall into place. The system could be more intelligent enough, and
this
that
can be done if it's your own D2C, but it's when it's
on
marketplaces
our
that
D2C, it is still like a good possibility. But the minute
But is
the
it
same
done
user,
on your D2C yet?
not fully, I would say.
And
to
why
some
would you think
extent.
why would you think it's not done? Where data exists, it should be done. Why do you think it's not
Not
done?
all the data exists. That's the problem. So
Yeah.
D2C data is there. But on the other hand, that same customer could go and buy from
Anywhere,
Amazon.
yeah,
They can
yeah.
buy
You don't
from
have a full
Flipkart.
view of his
So the LTV,
partial
like,
journey.
even if I want to see the LTV and say that my LTV is not, say, 160% in a certain period of time, it should be 220%. I have nothing to prove it. I know that customer is definitely, through my surveys and all that, they are going and buying from Amazon and all. But I can't put an exact revenue number to it.
Yeah, makes sense. Same.
Yeah, so just adding to that, I had this woman, there was this agency that I was working with, and worked with them on a couple of campaigns, stopped working with them, didn't work with anybody else in the meanwhile, about a year and a half. I get a call from the same agency, different POC, saying, wo nikal gayi, main hu abhi. We've rejigged our setup, there's a different department for this, there's a different department for this. I said, okay, very good, and she started pitching. So I said, agreed, but last time I did a campaign, there was this issue and I wasn't happy with this and all, etc. She's like, don't worry, we have a different tool right now. And that tool is amazing. And so I'm tired of the amount of agency rebirths that happen.
True.
Because every time there's an agency rebirth, there's a rebirth of the tool. So your old tool which worked on my data is not the new tool, has not integrated into the new tool. So your new tool has to learn my data all over again and work on it. The POC of course has changed, and it's okay, POCs will keep changing. That is why you have a tool to remember what happened the last time, right?
Yeah.
And when the new person called to pitch again, she didn't bother checking up on how was my experience or what were the kind of numbers they had not delivered in the last 1.5 years, right?
Yeah.
So I think I'm just tired of the amount of rebirths that happen and the amount of tool rebirths that happen. So if there's an agency who's working on it, and if of course innovation is important, you need to keep fine-tuning your tool. But then the tools have to be continuation.
Absolutely.
Do
Do you think brands also, because globally a lot of people are investing in data lakes and ways to sort of assimilate all their sales data, of course you do, but even your marketing data, all the intelligence that you gather from. So isn't that something that's happening around this room? Because I see heads shaking. Is there a way in which you are sort of centralizing all your intelligence as well?
So once the user comes to our platform, yes, definitely.
Yeah.
But before the users come to our platform, I think there are even more walled gardens which are being erected day on day, right?
Yeah.
Like Apple has stopped sharing any data.
Absolutely.
Earlier. Even now.
And I think more and more that's going to happen. So
It's
wherever
more and
you
more-
can extract, you should.
We can.
Yeah.
You're in Apple, you can't even know what is the exact number of people who are installing or uninstalling the app. right?
Exactly.
Even that bad.
Yeah.
So it is all going to be, I don't know once the data has to flow, then your automation or the AI has to work. We have all the data once a user comes in and what they do. But now I also have to give the information to the platform and then get the information back from the platform. I think that is where it is
I
all
think
failing
sometimes
at one
with all these buzzwords, we forget that even simple data science interventions, knowing my most profitable customer sets, knowing, in case of which geos see most amount of affinity towards my product, even simple data points like that, and putting that across could inform a lot more intelligence than trying to, work with the newest, fanciest,
Yeah.
coolest thing, so as to say. Yeah.
So when it comes to automation and AI, I think we do this partly already. Some of these are in test phases, and we do this in 3 areas fundamentally. So obviously, we are a lending product, and we also have an app which does. So in both of these cases, to identify the right kind of customers using historical data that we have done over the course of many years, over a decade, is what we actually have used in both these places. So which means even if it's expense management, for example, I would be able to tell you, can you actually go ahead and take a loan? If so, what is the percentage of interest? So we will try and do that. That's something that we're deploying. That's the
Which is a
first step,
predictive.
which is in product. Yeah. So in
Which is a
product,
predictive
that's something
model.
that we're doing. When it comes to the other 2 areas, fundamentally it boils down to transactions, and when it comes to customer support. Both of these, customer support, we've actually tried quite a bit with the chatbot over the course of the last year. And we know the kind of queries, the volume of queries, the seasonality of queries over the many years. Earlier, so if you pull back a year ago, we used to use a very traditional IVRs line, which is like somebody has to call, an agent will speak, ask you Aadhaar data, last digits, PAN card verification and all that. We have kind of bypassed that. So these are the 2 areas where we actually have deployed stuff, and I think the bottom of the funnel is far, far more better to deploy automation in AI because you already have enough information
Absolutely.
about
And
the customer.
I think that's what's
The
happening.
top of the funnel is not
Automated IVRs is one,
Yes.
one example, right? And with all the voice agents now, I think that's going to be the first thing that people are, because it's a costly affair to have real people and
Yeah, we
tolerate.
see the queries, we see the kind of queries that come in, so
Sure.
we cluster them, we are able to like
Got it.
figure what is the kind of queries. For example, Diwali is coming up, we know people will ask for a line increase. So
Understood.
we do understand this, we are able to predict it, and we actually can predict to the point where what kind of volume we will expect at the first 5 days when it comes to the repayment cycle, and therefore prepare teams ahead of time and all of that. So we've done this in the past, and we'll continue to do this again.
Yeah.
So it kind of helps us to do this.
In fact, I was just seeing a demo. Everybody must have used this in their meetings. There's a note-taking app called fireflies.ai.
Yeah.
I'm sure everybody saw that video that you can ask question to fireflies now. In the conversation, you can ask fireflies question and it can go back to all your past conversation with the same person and tell you what he said, what you said. Now imagine that for calling center where the customers called in for inquiring about the scooter, or even the interpersonal communications where you sort of record it and then you have it replayed, or let's say if it's a customer service query per se. That's just crazy that that can be
A
done.
sales assist when it comes to all of this is amazing. So
Yes.
we get to know how many times, what is kind of responses.
I'm pretty sure you do, and because that demo was mind-boggling. So yes, and I come back to you, Pranesh, on this. Technology is running away so far ahead, but I think people, systems, ecosystems, structures are lagging behind, right? Also, I don't think marketers in general, and maybe I'm wrong and I'm happy for you to take me on, they are averse to change because nobody wants to, for the lack of a better word, be the person who was wrong. Get it? Like I was talking to a very large bank, they have the same agency for the last 8 years. They are not that happy, but because they have the same agency for the last 8 years, they don't want to shift. It's an aversion to change because if you change something like that, and if it doesn't work, something that was tried and tested, sort of, So the question to you is, from your perspective, with technology sort of moving ahead, with people sort of lagging behind, what kind of solution do you see coming to the fore? Because you have to solve this, right? The full funnel piece that you just spoke about.
Yeah, so answering your question, which is what does marketer do? Because he's made the investment.
Yeah,
He's not ready to change because he has to make the investment.
correct.
And the investment result in ROI.
Yeah,
Tomorrow he's going to be responsible for saying that what is that you invested 3 crore. After a year you're not getting any ROI for that. Your customer acquisition has to improve, your CAC has to come down. If those things are levers are there for us to project, then there's no problem to change.
How important do you think the CAC and the ROI can be attributable to top of the funnel activity vis-a-vis bottom of the funnel?
It's very important, right? You can't form your marketing plan just on top of mind. Not for long. You can
Yeah.
tell that story for 1 year, 2 years. Ultimately, result in a lower CAC sometimes.
Yeah, yeah.
But just going by CAC or just top of mind awareness campaign will not suffice. Because ultimately, you have to make a sense of the kind of plans you have, the kind of strategy you build for marketing, and the strategy has to build towards your business goals.
And in your case, was there ever a time where you tried to sort of promote the category rather than the product or the brand, or it's always product or the brand?
No, we do both, right? So
Yeah.
at certain stage, you promote the product. And
Yeah.
where you see a certain customer who wants to jump the category from example, in our case could be a petrol from petrol to an EV.
Yeah,
You need to solve for certain barriers that he has in his mind.
yeah.
So that will have a separate kind of a communication. So it's
And for you, that becomes a very interesting part of the funnel where there is sort of awareness, there's education,
correct.
and then there is conversion. Yeah, education as in, because of the concerns around the category, one of them being
Yeah.
mileage,
Yeah.
charging, safety, all of that.
Absolutely. That
Right.
people miss out. Either you're talking about awareness or you're talking about bottom funnel.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
important part is the concentration. where you
Which is
especially
education
trying
in
to
your
shift
case,
the
actually
category.
education
Shift the
and
category.
convincing
Yeah.
the customer per se.
Of all the three, right?
Yeah.
The era of data has been there for long.
Yeah,
Automation is happening to a certain extent. Example, today you see a lot of social media bots are there who answers your question.
correct, correct.
AI is there in the travel review. You want to write a review about a hotel stay.
Yes.
Today there's an AI tool which gives
Summarizing it immediately.
you,
Yeah.
summary immediately and giving you
Yeah,
based
yeah.
your rating that you've done on stars. So AI is happening. Probably where I would want to see AI help us marketers to predict. Right? Today you're talking to customers who are in the market because you want to be efficient.
Yeah.
Can you predict based the life cycle of product? Example, say for a scooter it will be different, 7 to 8 years. Car could be different.
Yeah.
Refrigerators could be different. Mobile phones could be very different. Right? 2-3 years cycle.
So predict what? Their next purchase?
Next
or-
purchase. Right? And also, can you predict saying that whether that person wants to own a basic mobile phone or a high-tech, high-end mobile phone? He has evolved. So can AI help me to do that?
I definitely do think AI, based on your current customers' information, can predict who are your best targetable customers and through which channel. That definitely is possible.
My
today.
worry is today it's only looking at in-market.
Yeah, fair. No, that's the limitation.
Right? That's the
Right.
limitation, right?
Yes.
Right? So
Yeah,
probably
fair.
a couple of years down
Absolutely.
the line.
Yeah,
once
how
they-
you expand that market, I think that's where the risk taking or the top funnel, you have to go through that painful
Exactly.
cycle of putting some money in the top funnel and hoping some of it trickles down, right?
The second thing would be probably on the content side. How can
Yeah.
I fast? For example, say today if you want to generate any content,
Yeah,
most agencies will say I want to go and shoot.
yeah,
Why do you need to go and shoot?
yeah.
There's already a lot of AI tools which are there.
Absolutely.
Right?
I think content creative, that piece AI takes,
Can I make it faster? The turnaround
Yes.
times can be much, much shorter for us.
and also cheaper. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So quick word from you two, from your perspective. There's gaming, there's finance. You see the full funnel, right? Probably in your category, it's the most there.
Yeah.
But do you plan for the full funnel in your category, right? Like
See-
Pranesh said, he would love to, he wants to, but do you plan for the full funnel or it's still siloed? And if not, how do you think that can
See,
be solved for?
I think the way we plan for it is in 3 tiers: the top, the middle, and the bottom.
Yeah.
Right? And it's gonna be like that.
Hmm.
And no AI or no tool will look at all of it probably in the next 2 to 4 years.
Hmm.
And I think that's the core job of the marketer
Yeah.
and the brand person, to look at an entire end-to-end sales funnel,
Yeah.
and that's what defines them. But what I would really want AI to do is solve for execution, right? When you're thinking of all of this, you can train a GPT 3.5 model today to own your data for last 1 year, 6 months, and create a marketing plan out for you right now.
Yeah.
Okay, you can do that. 500 hours of coding and you'll get that done.
Yeah.
Or rather just training. But what AI can't do today, and what it should be probably doing, is deploying all of this as well, right?
Yeah.
And that's where the quickest proof of pudding for AI will come in,
Yeah.
when this piece of execution is completely left to AI and thinking is left to people.
I do agree.
Right?
That's sometime in the future though. But I think the solution for today is that combination of platform plus people plus AI, delicately balanced so that you get the end result, which Pranesh was talking about. Last words.
For me, I think building a robust recommendation model through AI is something I would want to envision. For example, now let's say I have 60 plus categories and 60 plus games on my platform, right?
Right.
Now I don't know what a user wants to play next, or what do they want to play next. Do they graduate, or do they churn, or do they sustain?
Yeah.
Right? So building that AI model which can tell me
Yeah.
where a user needs to land next is something that AI can help with, and then obviously the marketers have to come in and build those strategies.
You must meet my colleague there, Swamil. He does this for a living day in and day out. So he's totally looking at you and saying, I have to meet this person.
Awesome.
But because that's what he's building for the client that I mentioned on stage, Jack and
Yeah.
Jones Vermuda only. He's building a
Absolutely.
complete recommendation
Absolutely.
system because they have more than 1,000 plus SKUs and whatnot. So
And that's
yeah.
how you build a full funnel, right? You know where
Yeah.
user are coming from, and then you retain them, and then you know what to sell them so that they can get retained and not churn out of the system, right? Else you have to spend more and more on acquisition and not on retention altogether.
Yeah. This has been a fantastic discussion. I think we have more questions than answers, right? Which is a good thing, right? Which means there are people here who are speaking the truth, right? We didn't gloss over this. I love the point that Pranesh mentioned about, operators who are not evolved and evolved people who are no longer operators within their agency ecosystem. I love what, other people in this panel said about your agency not being able to connect the dots from past to the present. The different businesses here and their completely different challenges. A word, I know I did bash agencies a bit, but just imagine if all 7 of you were a client of an agency. It's very hard for them to service all of you perfectly given how diverse and disjointed your data and your problems are. So have some mercy on them next time you work with them, right? But having said that, I think this was a fantastic discussion, real challenges that you guys are facing, and I agree that the marketer is the only one which sees the full funnel, while partners see a slice of it. I will leave with this comment. If there was a way where a partner could see the full funnel with you, I believe that would be a very fruitful partnership. So hoping that data, AI and automation can solve for that unified view between marketers and their partners, so that you can move towards one goalpost together, which is probably what the summary of the boardroom discussion is. Thank you so much. I enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed it as well.